So take it away, Kelly Dart.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay, first of all? Okay. So, I wanted to start out with, for the newer people that haven't met me yet or don't know me or why I'm doing what I'm doing, I just kind of wanted to start out with explaining that. So I started a nonprofit organization in 2020, and it was because I had a friend who was murdered by her grandson in a domestic violence situation. And I had belonged to an organization several years ago where we did a lot of, you know, good works in the community kind of thing. And so I had some skills behind it, and I had a personal reason now, and I just wanted to do something. And I kind of was like putting all the little pieces together. So I created the nonprofit organization, and a lot of businesses within communities have, especially if they're a corporate type of a business, as banks especially, I know for certain since I worked at banks, they have requirements that is called, there's like a law, and Heidi will know this one too, but it's called the Community Reinvestment Act. And they are required to reinvest into their local communities on different levels of things that they can do. And they usually have qualifications. And one of them is they usually have to be a 501c3 nonprofit organization. They're not able to be religiously affiliated or politically affiliated. And they have to have their headquarters based in the county that they're representing. So for me, I represent Payette County, Idaho, and Malheur County, Oregon, because I'm right here on the border. So I can kind of tap into both communities, and I have found nonprofit organizations to partner with in both of those communities. So the first thing that I did was created the nonprofit organization. And so what I want to show you guys, if I'm able to share my screen, if not, I'm going to go to my second device and do it on a computer so you can see it. But the first thing that you need to do when you're going to create a nonprofit organization is you have to go to the IRS website, and you need to create you need to make gosh, what's the word? I just lost it. You need to sign up as a business on the IRS website for banking purposes. So if this is going to let me share my screen, Heidi, I'm on a iPad. Can I do it from the iPad, or do I need to just flip my camera and go to my desktop from my phone?
You can do it. So at the very bottom, it should say share screen with a green up arrow.
I have one that says share content. Is that the
Okay.
same?
Yep. Try that one. And then it should open up a screen that has all the things you have open, and you
Okay.
can select which one you're wanting to share.
Okay, so it says screen broadcast, and then Zoom is collected. So what I do is start broadcast.
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully this works.
Yay, we can see it.
Okay, and so what screen do you see?
We see you are sharing screen.
Okay, perfect. So let me toggle over. So can you now see the IRS website?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what you're going to want to do, so the website is irs.gov. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to apply for an employer ID number, EIN, which is all the way over to the right, the second one down. EIN stands for employer ID number. And why you need to have one of those is because people are going to donate money to your organization, and you're going to have a bank account to accept those funds. And in order to do that, you have to look at the business. You have to look at the nonprofit as a business, and the business has to have its business social security number is a good way to remember that. So an EIN is like the business version of a social security number. So you're going to go in and you're going to apply for the employer EIN, and it's going to take you to the next screen, and you're going to, when you go to apply online now, I'm gonna see how far it'll let us get, because there's one screen I just want you to see. The reason that you're going to do this, you're gonna say, okay, so you're gonna be, usually you're gonna be a corporation if you're nonprofit, and that is specific because you're gonna want to have like a board of directors and that kind of stuff. In the event that your business gets so big that you have to have like a board of directors and all that stuff, if you start it up from the very beginning that way, it won't be harder to switch it later on. So you want to do it as a corporation, and then you're gonna do, it's going to ask you why you're doing this, and you want to get to the screen where it says for banking purposes. Let's see if I keep going. Yeah, so this screen, why is the corporation requesting an EIN number? For banking purposes. That's the only thing you have to do. This doesn't cost you anything. And after you go through all of the screens, it will email you a form, and then the form will be what you would take to the bank. And what that is that's basically like your identification to prove to the bank that you are that company. There's a lot of, you know, new online technology kinds of things like Venmo and different ways to accept money. But in situations like this, where you're getting donation money from a business, most often they're going to write you a check, because that's how their bookkeeping works. So you need to have a bank account to keep those checks, to be able to deposit them. Okay, so I'm going to go to another screen really quick. Does anybody have any questions on that part of it so far? Okay, so then I'm going to go to Canva, and I'm going to show you guys my screen for the flyer that I made, so you guys can understand how this fits into Mary Kay and the nonprofit and all that kind of stuff. So I think I'm going to have to scroll a little bit so it all fits on this screen. But October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, as well as the breast cancer awareness. So domestic violence just happens to be purple, which you do know me, you know that's my favorite color. So I have made this flyer, and it is gonna talk about who I am and what I am. It's gonna explain my personal reason how I was affected of this. It's gonna show you what is available to purchase, what I am using my profit to purchase in addition to, and then at the bottom it shows the two organizations, one in each county, that I am going to be giving these baskets to. Actually, I call them personal care totes or something like that. I can't remember the right word that I use. The Mary Kay picture that's in my flyer says the Everyday Escape Bundle. So as I'm scrolling through, maybe, I don't know, can you guys see all of that, or just some of it? Is it just like the top part and her picture cuts off?
We can see the whole flyer.
You can? Okay, perfect. So so my nonprofit organization is called Purple Angel, and obviously I explained to you that I love purple, and I did that graphic that's up at the top left just because I wanted to incorporate it into the Mary Kay and the makeup and the cosmetic side of my nonprofit, as well as the angel wings for the eyelashes, because I want to be somebody helping our community. So then the picture of the woman is the one who did pass away from her grandson. And then the Everyday Escape Bundle is what I purchased from Mary Kay. So the nonprofit business organization is Kelli Dart's customer, and they're going to purchase these Everyday Escape Bundles, which I think it's $156 now. It used to be 150 even, but I think with some of the price changes, it's like 156 now. And so what I do is, our cost is obviously half of that. And so with the other money that I make in profit, I donate back to the organization and fill the bundles with other personal care items. One of the things that happens when a person goes into a domestic violence situation is they're typically leaving in a very quick, very unprepared manner. And oftentimes, the personal hygiene kind of products are the things that they do not have with them. So a lot of times you'll have these domestic violence shelters, you'll have group homes or these other kinds of organizations, and they get a lot of grant money to help pay for like their rent and their electricity and the other utilities and food and employees to run their organizations. But what they can't get grants for is things like personal care products. Those women, they show up without deodorant, a toothbrush, shampoo and conditioner, feminine hygiene products, that kind of stuff. And so this is a way to help those communities get those kinds of products. So we put the bundles together. This is a lot of work, a lot of foot time, a lot of phone call time, and a lot of man hours putting all of the packaging and everything together. And so how I use the community to help me do that is also I reach out to the local high schools. Most high school requirements now to graduate do include community service. And they usually have, I think, 40 hours of community service that they have to fulfill. And then they have to do a project on what their community service was. And so there's some of the kids in the schools that don't have an idea of what they're going to do for community service. So I reach out to the guidance counselors at the local schools. And when they have students that come in that don't have a community service already, they can refer them to me and the students can help me with this. So I have the students going around to the businesses, talking to their own family and friends, asking for donations. And the donations are monetary donations. And that money is what is used to purchase the Everyday Escape bundle. And then my profit that goes along with that, I donate back to the nonprofit organization, which is a tax cut for me. And we buy some of the stuff that's not in the Everyday bundle. Most specifically, we focus on shampoo, conditioner, personal hygiene, like feminine hygiene, toothbrush, and deodorant. Sometimes socks if we have enough money, because socks are also another thing that they aren't able to get. It's weird. Clothes are donated a lot, but socks aren't, and I don't know why that is. So so you're going to create a nonprofit organization. You're going to get some help doing your footwork. You're going to ask businesses to donate because it's a tax write-off for them. They need to invest back into their communities anyways. And then you're going to purchase stuff from your Mary Kay to the customer, which is the nonprofit. And then if you choose to do it the way I've done it, then you would add your profits back into those personal care baskets. So in 2020, I did 100 of these. And I also order the products when we have double credit for Mary Kay. Oftentimes, at least once a year, Mary Kay gives us an opportunity to double our order, our credit for if you're tracking a lot of those national courts. So whenever that has come up in the year 2020 and the year 2022, I purchased 100 of these. 50 of them went to each shelter here in my local area. So one of the shelters is called Rose Advocates. They're in Ontario, Oregon. And the other shelter is called Project Dove. No, I think Rose Advocates is Idaho. Project Dove is Oregon. But anyway, and so that's kind of like the full circle of what I did, how I did it, why I did it. And then there's other details that maybe are more specific if you guys have any, questions and stuff on that. In the communities that we have here, the 50 bags that we have made have lasted about 2 years. So I'm going to be doing this every other year instead of every year. I'm going to do it every other year because that was about how much time it took for them to go through the ones that they had. I am also wanting to expand this and go into maybe like nursing homes. There's group homes. There's teen challenge, teen help around the areas. Some of those you have to be careful because, again, a lot of times the businesses aren't able to donate if the organization is religiously affiliated, and some of those organizations are through churches. So you just have to know your community, know who can donate to what, and of course keep a list. As each year you go through, you've got your contact person at such and such a business. You contact this person, and you just kind of get them in the habit of knowing this is going to happen every year. October is an awesome month to do that. In addition to being domestic violence month, it's also 2 months prior to the end of their year. So that's when a lot of the business money people are planning out their budgets for the following calendar year. And then they can get you on their list so they know that every year they're going to be donating such amount of money to your organization. Now, just because I'm not taking the personal care packages to the shelters every year doesn't mean I'm not doing the work every year. So the businesses are still donating. The money just sits in the account, and I'm still having the students help me so they get the community service credits and all of those things. The only part that isn't happening on like the odd years is the delivering of the bundles. So that that's just the one piece of it, because you want to keep it consistent. You want the businesses to know each year they're going to be doing this. So for easy numbers and easy math, when I did this, so I did 100 of them, and they're $156. So that was $15,600 in retail product that counted, of course, towards my quart of personal sales, which is almost like half of what the quart is. I mean, the quart is $40,000 in retail sales. And so the people donated the money to me. And then out of that 15,600, half of that was my profit, which is $7,800, which I donated back to buy a lot of the products. And there's no way the $7,800 was even close to how much it cost to buy all of those products. And so that extra money is just sitting in the nonprofit for, the following years as you kind of build it up and get going on it. Eventually I'm hoping to do other types of things and add different things as we get a surplus of money built up. Maybe sometime if somebody needs a car or some of those kinds of things, we just have to have, it continuing to grow. And in order to do that, it needs to be consistent every year. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, I guess I maybe went through that pretty quick because it's only 7:15, but anybody who has questions, I'm going to go ahead and I think stop sharing my screen so you guys can see me.
I have a question.
Okay. Go ahead.
I always have questions. I'm sorry. I know I'm
Okay.
inquisitive. So when you go out to and send the kids from the high school out looking for donations, do you have a set script or a letter or something that explains everything to them? Are you making appointments to go in ahead of time? What does that process look like more detailed?
I have I'm seeing if that stopped sharing my screen. Okay. Did that work? Am I sharing now?
Yeah, you're back to
okay.
normal.
Back to you.
Okay. So what I'm doing is I don't have a script for them. I just have the flyer. So I'm usually messaging all of the businesses ahead of time myself from like my email, because as each business has donated, I get them to do like their contact information to me. And so then I have like a contact person. So I usually email ahead of time, reminding them that it's coming up. And then I send the student into the the business with the flyer to talk to the person. So they have a contact they're going to go into the business and ask for. And a lot of times, especially in my community, since it's so small, a lot of the students that I get, they might look at the list and be like, oh, I know these people, or I know these people. So I let them go to those businesses. So they already have like a comfortability to it. So they're not just going in cold calling. And then I also have, the first year I didn't do it this way. The second year I did, is we had enough money extra that we got a couple of, like, I think we got a laptop, a mini fridge, and maybe like a tablet or something like that. And then I did, I also incentivized the students with oh my gosh, my brain is just lost focus. So the one who gets the most donations ends up winning one of those prizes. And of course, those are geared towards them obviously going to college the next school year. And so I'm just trying to make it like really easy and simple. So every year it can just kind of be recreated, and it's growing and it's getting momentum. So one of the places, the domestic violence shelters here in Payette, was a home. Husband and a wife owned a home, and they had a little fruit stand in the front of their house. And they were Asian. I don't remember like which Asian nationality they were. And they had a neighbor that was from one of those countries. I want to say it was like Vietnam, but I'm not 100% certain. And she had come over here, married somebody from the military, and she was over in the United States because she was married to somebody, and he ended up being very abusive. And so in her going to the fruit stand all the time and talking to these people ended up helping her escape him and moved back to her home country. And in retaliation for them helping her, he went in and murdered them. And so the children of those people donated the land that their house was on, and it has grown into a domestic violence shelter. And I was very much a part of that whole saga when it happened in like 1997. I lived here. I was just barely a year out of high school. And I remembered going to their fruit stand all the time. I knew these people, and I had never, ever been around something like that. It was so traumatic and scary. And it just touched my heart. So I have all these little like personal things that go into why this domestic violence is, you know, important and means something to me. And then I just tried to kind of build things around it based on what I knew, and how I've made it work, I guess. It's been successful. I've enjoyed it. We're helping people in the community. We're helping children in our community to do, you know, what they need to do to graduate. And it's just really turned into an awesome thing. So question time, other than the script, they just have the flyer. I hope that answers that.
So Kelly, I understand, you know, the deodorant and feminine products, etc. What Mary Kay products go in it?
It's the satin hands, the satin lips, and I think it's the satin body. So it's like the shower gel, the lotion, the scrub, the satin lips, so the balm, the scrub, and then the whole satin hands set.
Okay.
And I think that's it. I'd have to go back and look exactly at the flyer and make sure that's all the things.
That's
but I think,
okay.
And
Yeah,
the
just a good generality that helps.
yeah. And if you were going to go into like a nursing home, for instance, I would maybe change what you're putting in the packaging. You know, for them, I would probably gear more towards like the mint bliss for their legs, maybe still some satin hands. The socks with the mint bliss is a big thing because they don't always have that in the nursing home. And I've also gone to the dollar store and or like Walgreens or something like that, and I've changed some of the socks because some people have bought them for male residents at the nursing homes, and of course the socks are typically more feminine, and so you can just switch out the socks, and you know, for $1 or $1.25 now, I guess you just buy a different pair of socks to go for like a male resident. And then if you're doing You could also do a donation to maybe like your first responders, your nurses, your doctors, your EMT people, your police, your firefighters. And you can just change up how you want to put the packages together and just gear it towards different things. I went with the bundle that Mary Kay's company had, or somebody, I guess, within the company had already made that flyer. And so I just attached that flyer into mine and just made it simple. So then I know when I go through, I have it saved on my orders on the Mary Kay website, and then I can just go back in every 2 years or every other year, and it's already there. I have 100 of each of the items all ready to go, and then I can just submit the order.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Any other questions?
I think I missed the value. I didn't get it written down. What is the typical value of what you put in, Mary Kay wise? Is it just vary with each one?
I think it used to be 149 or 150 exactly. And then with some of the price increases, I think last year when I did it, it was either 154 or 156. So what you could do is, for easy numbers for me, I just kept it at 150 just to keep it, I'm already getting a whole bunch of extra anyways. And the stuff that I'm buying and I'm adding to it is not costing the $7,800. The other thing that I've added and I found is other businesses, if they're not able to do like a monetary donation and they want to do like an item donation, I've actually got a couple dentists on board that are helping me with the toothbrushes and the tooth paste. And then I have some of the hotels are getting, they're donating like the stuff that they put in their rooms, those are smaller sizes. I'm trying to get like full size products in all of them. So if it's one of the bags has maybe the stuff from a hotel where it's just all the smaller sample sizes, then I'll put like 5 of them in there instead of, or, like 10 or however it works to bundle it. So they're still getting a full size product just in smaller versions. And then you can kind of get creative. You have those relationships that you start building with the people at the organizations, and maybe they don't need all these personal care products right now. They need something else, and so the money that you have in excess can kind of go to whatever their needs really are. You do obviously have to sell some product Mary Kay wise in order to be able to make profit to be able to donate that. And if you're totally not wanting to donate your profit, you don't have to. That's just the way I do it. You could easily just do the bundles like I've done and just deliver them that way without anything with them, and keep the profit. That's certainly your choice. Anybody can do it that way. And there's lots of variations that you could tweak it so it fits your community. There's a lot of you guys in the Boise, Ada County area. So maybe you focus on one organization or one thing and partner with them.
I had actually talked to an attorney at one point for doing this, and what you just said, he told me that it's a conflict of interest if you keep the profit and that you can't legally. So that was what he told me.
So then maybe that's good. I've never had to look at that part of it legally because I do donate all of my profit. So I've not had to research that part of it. But I did in the very beginning when I first started to do this. I did, thanks to you, actually, I went in and read all the legal stuff and made sure I was doing everything according to the Mary Kay, legal stuff to make sure I didn't get in trouble that way. And that's where I came up with, because originally I was just going to do it myself as Kelli Dart, donating all of this stuff. And I couldn't, that was the conflict of interest. So that's where it came in, where I had to create the nonprofit. So the nonprofit is where everybody's donating their money to. And then the nonprofit is purchasing the stuff from Kelli Dart. And then Kelli Dart is putting the profit back into the nonprofit organization to purchase the items. So it's all going through the bank accounts and the nonprofit organization. So it's all like above board. And we file a tax return if you get to a certain point every year. And I have my CPA, helping me with all of that kind of stuff. So the luckily for me, the 2 times I've done it, 2020 and 2022, I wasn't big enough to have to do the tax return. So I didn't have to deal with that just yet, but it's going to probably get there.
This was so amazing, Kelly. I love your heart and I love how you do this. And every time you do it, I'm like, oh, I got to start something like that. Goals. Like you're
Yeah.
so awesome.
Yeah. It's amazing to me how it has worked. Like it was like this little idea in my mind, and I knew like little bits and pieces about how things could work, and it really worked. And last year, I'll kind of end with this. Last year I had in the middle of doing this program or putting all this stuff together in October, my middle school like best friend was murdered by her son. So I have like my first story that started with the lady I worked with at the bank where her grandson killed her. And now I have like another story. So it's like another layer that I've added into this. And so she was the executive director at the animal shelter in Caldwell. And so I am branching out this year and to the Canyon County and trying to get some help there in honor of her. And so I don't know how that looks yet because I'm just in the very beginning stages of that. And so we'll see how that goes. But it's kind of blows my mind that me as one little person in the world has two like personal stories that ended in murder. Well, three actually, if you count the domestic violence shelter location. So it's very near and dear to my heart. I'm very lucky that I don't deal with that personally. It's not an issue for me. Mike doesn't beat me. He might want to some days, but he's not. And so it's just through other people that I loved near and dear to my heart that have left us because of domestic violence.
And
So,
what a beautiful way to just one person, just you putting all this together to help so many.
Yes.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing
super
how it.
proud of you.
Thank you. And that's what Mary Kay would want us to do, right?
Yep.
We pay it forward, we go give. So
Yep, exactly. Awesome. Well, thanks for such a great training, Kelly. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is there
Yeah.
any other questions about the meeting tonight? Or
Yeah,
announcements?
have
Go
any
ahead.
questions, or if you think of anything later or you want help with anything, just reach out to me and I can help you one-on-one, or you can certainly ask questions or whatever. I'd be happy. And I can even share the flyer. It's on Canva. So we all learned how to use Canva. Anybody could easily change the little boxes and, put their name in it versus mine.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah.
Okay, so for our inspirational close tonight, I have a couple of little things. The first one is, if you pay attention to the patterns of your life, you'll realize that everything always works out. Everything always takes you to a greater destination. You always grow, and the things you think you can't survive, you somehow divinely make it through. That's life, and so always remember that. And then the last one is, there are 2 months left until 2024. Don't let anyone waste your time. Go after your dreams, cut out the distractions, speak your affirmations, remove toxic people from your life, focus on your grind, your goals, and your glow up. So great meeting tonight, ladies. Thank you. Welcome, Jordan, for being able to join us. She's my new team member. So you on here.
Hi, Jordan.
We'll be seeing more of you. Super excited for your debut. So have a great night, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.